Woo! It's that Buddha vibes, man, on YouTube. This guy is amazing. BUDDHAVYBEZ period. Buddha Vibe Productions, man. It's crazy. This dude's got skills. I can certainly appreciate things like this. Yeah, man, we're here to give it to you. It's a little old, the music. We're going to talk about some music. I think I'm going to slap the label on the episode. Relax and take notes, man. Relax and take notes. The greatest of all time. Relax and take notes. We're going to talk about a lot of things, man. I got it marked off in the notes. Relax and take notes. Biggie Smalls, we love you, brother. Do what you love. Do what you love, man. Do what you love. Even if it's for a few minutes. You know, a lot of times in this world, we have a lot of obligations. These obligations may or may not be the most important task at the time. Preferably, if you're listening back, man, Creating Greatness, Championship Mindset Talks, the Law Scrolls, we just dropped it. Organizing and prioritizing within your mind, within the list in your phone or on paper, within communication with your loved ones, your brethren, your team, to see what is of the utmost importance within your life, and then operating accordingly. A lot of times when we organize our thoughts, behaviors, and actions in that way, things will begin to flow a little bit more effortlessly. And we're going to talk about that. But right now we're talking about relax and take notes and doing what you love for a few minutes, because we cannot spend all of our time doing what we love. There are a few people in this world that get rich or even make enough money to provide for themselves and their family and so forth, doing what they love. But it is a very important aspect of who we are. It's a very important aspect of what we're doing. We're here on this planet. Our whole purpose, our sole purpose, is not just to make money and provide and die. It is to live a life well lived. To live a life that you're laying on your deathbed, you're proud of, and you let go with ease and comfort. I've seen enough. I did it all, man. You know, I did the things on this planet that I wanted to do. I provided for the ones I love. I did my duty. I did my service to my people and my God. And I had some fun as well. And I did some things that I love. And sometimes these things that we love can put us in a better position to do the things that we need to do. And this is specifically what I'm speaking about now. I had a podcast the other day, and I'm going to publish it probably before this one, so I hope you check it out. I'm not sure what I'm going to name it yet, but I did it with Tony, with my favorite guest, Tony Spencer, because he's so inquisitive and he's so reflective and thoughtful and able to admit that he's wrong, able to search for something new. But it's that searching, it's that grasping that I so much enjoy doing shows with him, because I'm doing the same, although I've come to some pretty secure conclusions. But we scheduled it a while before we recorded it, and I did not want to break. Excuse the airplane. I love doing this podcast outside. The vibe's just better. The air's better for me. I feel like it gives you, the viewer, a little bit more to look at, whether it's the floaties in the background or me doing all this. You know, excuse the Italian in my heritage. That it's natural. It's one of the only aspects of my speaking class that I've aced without even trying, because I just do this. This is what I do. I'm moving my hands, people that are listening on the podcast and not watching the video. But so a good friend of mine, also, it's work for me. You know, it's work for me. And I talked about this a lot. I cannot make money doing what I love. I feel an obligation to podcast and teach people, tell people how terrible my life was, how good it is now, and how I did it, because it was so super simple and it didn't cost me very much money. And a lot of people won't tell you that formula, won't give you that program, because they want to sell you something. I just want you to listen if you like it, share if it helped you. And, you know, the boost to me would be like, subscribe, comments, all that stuff. But doing what you love for a few minutes can put you in a better position mentally to take on certain tasks. Like, so I wasn't feeling up to the task, but I wanted to put in the work because I'm working towards what I want to do with this. So I didn't want to cancel. So I went and just popped in the grow tent for a little while in my garage. Clip few branches that needed clipping, water, you know, gently move the earth around the soil within the containers just to give it a little fresh life. Just check everything out, twitch with the fan, how the fan's going, make sure the exhaust is open. All these just different, very maybe boring tasks or mundane tasks. But sometimes if it's something that you truly enjoy, whether it's writing or reading or drawing or painting or singing or cooking, playing video games, well, that's a little bit less of an unhealthy one. But if you decide to give yourself, okay, I'm going to give myself a couple minutes, I think maybe video games need to be erased from that. I do use video games for hand-eye coordination and focus and a lighter challenge when I'm done the bulk of my work of the day, working downhill, and we're going to talk about that as well. But whatever that may be, the thing that you love to do that you're not getting compensated for and probably never will be, the biggest compensation I'm looking from learning how to do all these things is be bringing in some groceries, man. Some little tomato here, carrot there, cucumber here, head of lettuce. Hey, man, every dollar that you save is a dollar earned. Respect that. Because if it's a couple bucks, man, and you're doing it a couple times a month, it adds up. Put it together. Remember, shaving seconds off a process that you do over and over again throughout the year. Seconds equal minutes, minutes equal hours, hours equal days, so on and so on when you talk about year and life. Same thing with this instance. I'm saving myself $3 for a head of lettuce one time every 3 months. Add that in with a couple carrot, like I just said, a couple cucumber. You're saving yourself $1 here, 50 cents there, and you add that up throughout the year. Maybe you're talking about $100. Maybe you're talking about $500, depending on your success or your room. Because some people, they really get into it and they're bringing in a bulk of their things. But let's not get off topic. That is my joy, my peace, and that brought me back. A lot of times, what I'll use is listening to music, and you got a lot going on out there. Respect to the man, the legend, Dave Goggins, who doesn't believe in workout music. I was just listening to a professor the other day in my online community and university who was saying he doesn't understand why people listen to music at all. He's one of these, because I don't want to say he's one of these kind of guys when I don't know him. I know what I know of him, the videos that I watch of him. And what I see is very focused, driven, goal-oriented. I mean, I hate that term. I don't hate it. But anyway, goal-oriented person. If it's not an exact reason in my life, then I'm not entertaining that if it's not a very direct reason for doing it. If there's not some immediate goal attached to it. And I understood what he meant. But I also tune back to a person like Andrew Huberman, who's a neuroscientist, and says that a lot of times music can put us in certain moods. Music is, we're talking about music, so it's good that my mind's bringing us here. Creating greatness, man. Let's go. Or maybe you have the same monkey mind and you can follow me. Let's go with it, man. So he was talking about how music can, a lot of times people use music to facilitate a certain sort of mood. I used to be guilty of this. I wanted to listen to sad R&B music, or I wanted to listen to exciting rock music or hardcore rap music in the gym to facilitate a mood. A lot of people listen to sad music. They love it. And what he was saying was using that in a productive manner, as in facilitating the moods that you want to have. And I've taken this into my life. Obviously, I already do it with the gym, and stay away from me, Mr. Wasp. I'm busy. And we're going to talk about this snake that crawled over here the other day as well. But I want to wait till I talk to Tony about that, because it happened while we were podcasting. If you see me, keep looking. Anyway, the mind. Facilitating moods. For instance, obviously, in the gym mode, I need energy mode. Sometimes I go to the Christian rap. I need workout hypeness. Sometimes I go to the hard rock or the gangster rap. Although I'm doing a lot less of that nowadays because I'm seeing the connection. You think there's not a connection, but there is. Super violent movies, super violent hardcore gangster rap, certain thoughts. And this is the awareness that we're working to cultivate. If those things truly don't affect you, then have at it. But for me, I notice trends. If I listen to a lot of gangster rap in the morning, I got an attitude in the afternoon. I promise you that. So we're maintaining, watching, balancing, you know. So now, besides that, even if I'm trying to get into a relaxed state, because that's difficult for me sometimes, and I'm sure it is for a lot of people with the chaos of the world, the hectic paces of our lives, where it's hard to start tuning down. Everyone can turn up for what, right? We all know how to do that, but do we all know how to tune down and to put our bodies and minds in a relaxed state to where we're not sleepy, but we are in a relaxed state? And of course, we talk about prayer, meditation, yoga, and all these things, but music is a major component to that as well. And I'd like to mention, there are some certain specific herbs and mushrooms that you could take that I take. I've been taking on it. Total Human, and in the nighttime pack they have some reishi and some lemongrass and some chamomile and other sorts of herbs that just don't make you sleepy, but cruise you on into a productive evening. And I mention it because I like it, not because they're paying me, obviously, but I do like that. In addition to the things we talked about before, prayer, yoga, but that music is a powerful component, man, because I'll switch totally from country music in the car, like we talked about, rap or rock during a workout. So, man, I'll take it back to that good R&B, and not only back to the 90s where we're talking about Avant and Tyrese and Tank and guys like that, or Teddy Swims is one of the newer guys that I listen to, but take it back to Otis Redding and things like that. I mean, putting that on, getting in the shower, doing the other things that I talked about really puts me in a nice space. So use music and the things that you love to motivate you to do the things that you know you need to do. So let's go, man. Let's pop this up and get going, man. I hope you enjoy a little intro about music, relax and take notes. Plan a full life. Now, being busy and balanced. Me and my wife talk about this quite a bit because every single day you have a lot to do. And that's just how it seems to go. And whether it's one of the days where she has to go to the hospital and work, or one of the days where she's here with me, either way, because if she's at work, then I have a whole list of things that I need to do based upon my school, my podcast, obviously the household, the kids, you name it. And then obviously she has a laundry list of things to accomplish at her job. And then oftentimes, a lot of times with her being in school, there's things before and maybe after. And then obviously she has her motherly duties, and it on and on. Talk about that because it does never end. But that's okay. Let's talk about this right now before the monkey mind takes you on another ride. So we do plan for a full life because you know that thing that they say, what is it? Idle hands is a devil's playground. I believe in that. I do. Some of the biggest mistakes that I've ever made in my life were based upon my boredom. My boredom. My boredom got me in trouble. And sometimes it would be boredom with, oh, well, I have things to do, but I don't want to do those things. And that put me in a bad spot. I think major mistakes in my life were caused by something so simple as boredom. And it's an alternative music line that I still like. I'm not exactly sure who or what. I'm sure some of you out there can enlighten me. Please do it. Creating Greatness Podcast at Gmail. But he says, if you're bored, you're boring. And that's what I repeat to myself now, because in this world full of limitless things that we can do, there's really no reason to be bored. More of the boredom, it's if you get bored for a split second, then it's your laziness and your vices starting to kick in immediately, almost. Mine will, until I check it. Nope, we're not doing that. There are multitudes of things, because sometimes I don't want a podcast, or I don't want to work on the videos on my online school. But then maybe I'll go, okay, well, I'll do a design on Canva. I'll open up, make something for the podcast, or I'll open up CapCut and say I make a short or a video, try to promote the podcast a little bit. Something creative that's pushing my agenda, giving me a feeling or sense of progress. Although there may be more important things that I can be doing, I'm still making progress on some level. So give yourself these layers. And we're going to talk about this. Well, we might as well go right in. Give what you got when you got it. And we talk about this as well. And that's another reason why these layers and these filters of thought are very, well, let's say layers of effort. I don't want to get too wobbly here because I'm starting to sort of figure things out as I'm talking. That's why I encourage speaking, talking things out. Layers of effort, meaning give what you got, man, because we're all going to have those days where we don't absolutely feel our best. We're not really up to task. We're not firing on all cylinders. We're not on our A game. You could try to facilitate that flow or that A game by the things we always talk about: prayer, yoga, meditation, cold water, breath work. Those are huge, although they may be on the more difficult of the spectrum. But even then, I have days where I do all those things and I still am not feeling at my best. And those days, I be productive on the layers that I just spoke about. Okay, well, not as much physical. I'm on a 30-day workout thing. Well, a lot of days, well, I'm not on that. I'll take a break, whatever, and I'll do less physical job. Like I was speaking about, something creative, something I can do on my phone, something I can do on a computer. If I don't even feel like doing those things, there's something of uber importance that I may be neglecting for pursuit of all these worldly things to increase my spiritual impact. And that's sitting on my kid, man, and doing like whatever they're doing. The dumbest stuff in the world. They're kids. They're supposed to be doing that. A lot of times I'm so focused and driven in the things that I want to do and I want to accomplish. I'm not taking that time. So maybe if you don't have children, you're just sitting with your dog and playing and exchanging love. Sitting with your kids, playing, exchanging love. That'll give you the energy to go ahead and do what you need to do. But then, like I said, there's other layers of effort once you move into the physical world, the accomplishment world, the material world. Or, okay, well, I can at least write this one thing down. I can at least knock this one thing off my to-do list. I can at least make this one design or fill in the blanks of your things, small, tiny little things. It doesn't matter. It's checked off the list. It gives you a mental win so that you'll go on and on and on to bigger things. And then we do have the filters of thought. And we talked about this in project management. It's like the filters of thought are what is of the utmost importance. Maybe that's a step you can't get to yet. Maybe you need more money. Maybe you need more impact. Maybe you need to be in a different position. Okay. So then the filter will go, what can I do now? What can actually be done? Maybe that step is as simple as gathering resources, making a list, Googling, researching, finding out information, having a discussion with a loved one who may be involved, who may help you progress, help you add in micro mini steps on the way to the thing that you cannot yet grasp, whether it be financially or it's out of your reach for the time given. But don't not shoot for that dream or goal because there's a step that you can't get to yet. I guarantee you there's hundreds of micro mini steps along the way that'll put you in a position to do this, and that will ultimately put you in a position to do that. And I hope it didn't get too crazy there, but remember, layers of effort. There's always something that can be done. Filters of thought. There's also always things that can be done. So give it what you got, because on the flip side of those, I'm using these layers and filters to sort of get to the easier or smaller things. There are going to be days, no matter what, man, no matter if you eat junk food or whatever, and maybe you can facilitate this via diet and exercise and things you're taking into your feed as far as visual and listening to stimulus. But a lot of times that doesn't always equate. Sometimes one day you just wake up and I feel amazing this day. I'm not exactly sure why. Ride it out, man. Ride it out. Ride it out till the wheels fall off. Get everything done that you could possibly get done. Make every phone call. Talk to every person. Do every practice. It doesn't matter. There's never enough on those days, man. There's never enough. So just do it all. Because like I said, there will come a day. There will come a time. Hopefully not. I don't wish this upon you. I wish for every day for you to be like that. But the day may come when you don't feel like you have it. And you already knocked out huge portions of what you needed to do because you riding that feeling, that good feeling. And also with the layers of thought, the layers of effort and the filters of thought, you could find something. It may be something real small, something real stupid, something you might be able to do laying in your bed on a phone. Anything. It'll give you that progress. It'll give you that small win, racking up to big ones. So, NABC, adaptability. Now, I hear a lot of guys. Well, I don't hear a lot of guys. I hear a couple guys, a couple tools. Excuse me. I get to be a hater sometimes. I'm sorry. I think we all got it in us. I don't feel bad. These guys are kind of tools. Big, muscle band, macho, date lots of women, order DoorDash every single night. You know, those kind of guys. Crypto billionaires, whatever. I'm kidding around now. I'm going and kidding. I hear it. Heard it. You have a plan B. You're planning for failure. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all. Because there are too many external events and variables in anything. There are too many outside influences, external events, and variables to go. It's planned. I mean, I guess I understand what they're saying. And this is a testament to saying that maybe I'm the tool and maybe they're not so tooly, but a little bit. Maybe we're both a little bit. The goal don't change. Like for me to farm, the goal don't change. The goal don't change. It's never going to change. It's that. It's self-sustainability. It's farm life, simple life. The simple life's been calling me for a long time. I think it's calling a lot of us. Start listening. But I do believe a plan B and a plan C is okay. Me and my wife use this technique all the time. And basically what it's about adaptability. And when you're making these plans, A, B's, and C's, what it does is it opens up a visual of potential pitfalls and potential, what's the word I'm looking for? Monkey wrenches in your game. Any potential threat, any potential downfall, any potential hole in your plan. When you start analyzing a plan B and a plan C, now you're opening up to your vision all those things that may or may not go wrong or could go wrong, all the variables, and even the worst case scenarios, man. And I believe in this, and I believe in this. You'll never tell me, oh, your plan A to plan B, and that's what it is. If you have a plan B, you're weak or you're going to fail. I disagree with that. I believe to be like water. Bruce Lee, quote. I say it all the time. It is the flow, adaptable. All right, this is the end. This is the end. This don't change. But I might go this way. I might go this way. I might go this way. I might go under. I might go over. I might break through. Whatever I have to do, it may take more time. But I'm going to get there. But the modes and the means and the road that I travel can never be written in stone. It can never be one way. This is plan, So I guess I'm agreeing with them and disagreeing with them at the same time. If you believe in something with all your heart and soul, that is meant for your life. And let me say this. I still think that you need to be open to maybe you're wrong. Because although now, I know it's the farm. I know it's the cows. I know it's the chickens. I know it's the goats. I know it's to grow on my field full of food. I know it's the lake somewhere, the stream where I can fish nearby, collect water, clean it, and all that. Collect the rainwater. Hunt, fish, be self-sustainable, man. Stop relying on other people for what I need. That's because I found me, man. I know who I am. But for so many times, I thought I wanted all these things that I certainly did not want. And if I would have had achieved those things, man, they would have been more of a curse than a blessing. So that's another one where I have to lean towards the side of having a plan B and C. Because maybe your plan A is not for you, man. And there's only a few things that you could do to make sure that. Really analyze your plan A. Why do you want this? Why do you want that? Whether it be a relationship, a job, a car, a house, a life situation. Analyze your reasoning. Be brutally honest. Analyze your true motives. You don't have to tell anybody. And it's okay, whatever they are, because now you know. And if you don't like them, you can begin to work those things out on your own. You don't have to shed that light to the world. Because let me tell you something, along my path of learning, I've analyzed my behaviors, my thoughts, my actions many, many times and came up very short. And had I had to disclose all of that information out into the world, I would have been very embarrassed, ashamed. But this is how we dig in. Brutally honest. This is how we know ourselves. At least then you know where you're at. If you continue bullshitting yourself, you're never going to get anywhere. You're not going to get to plan A, B, or C. So have the plan. Be adaptable. Be adaptable. And understand. understand what it is that you truly want and why do you want it. And you'll work twice as hard to get it if you do those things. Does it ever end? Discernment. We talked about that already, and I think I'm going to sort of skip over it because what I was meaning was, does it ever end? A lot of times in this life, if you're going through your day and you're knocking things off the to-do list, you feel like you're having a good day at that point. I'm making a lot of checks on that book. But then at some point, maybe 5, 6, 7 p.m., you're going to start seeing all these new things that maybe need to be done or maybe they were neglected. And you think, man, that has to be done as well. Does it have to be done today? Maybe you'll get frustrated like I did the other week when I wrote this topic was, man, does it ever end? It's 8 o'clock at night and I'm seeing things that are really bothering me, like crumbs on the floor. And now I feel like I have to sweep the floor at 8 p.m. And I've just had a full day of all those types of things as well as these type of things. And I'm really getting frustrated. And I say, those 3 crumbs can wait till tomorrow morning, Robert. I'm sorry. Don't judge me. But it's having that discernment. Maybe in your life, if there's critters or something, you can't let that happen. That's where the discernment comes in. That's where the layers of effort come in and the filters of thought, where you have to decide the end point. And that's why I always preach about lists, because lists are invaluable to me and to most people who use them, because it's much more likely that you're going to get it done. You can check it off. You can add new things that need to be added, and you can constantly sort of keeping it revolving. Okay, I didn't get this done. Now it goes to the top. That got checked off. This goes to the bottom. It's new, and it's just a working thing. You're never like, oh, my to-do list is never ending. It is. That's the whole point. You want your life to continue, right? What else are you going to be doing? Partying, drinking, BSing, nonsensing, out good time. Or you're going to be consciously moving your life forward in a direction that you want it to go. And that's why these lists are so invaluable. See other source. Just hit me up, man. I'm going to give him a shout out while I'm on here, man. Unlocking Levels podcast. Amazing dude. See other source. I love him, man. He just hit me up, and we're going to do a podcast together real soon. So does it ever end? Discernment. Make your list. Choose what needs to be done. Prioritize. Organize. Accomplish. Thank God. Oh, yeah, that's this Ace Hood, man. Ace Hood, one of my favorite rappers. We're back to the music. I got one more, I think, in there, something about music, but this is Ace Hood I was talking about. He has a song called The Process and then another one called We Ball. I really like Ace Hood. I really like when I don't know if he detached himself, but he got separated from a label and a lot of major artists, and his music started to change for me. I noticed he's speaking about God more and meditating and working out and bettering yourself and all these things. My respect, he already was a great lyricist, a great rapper, but I respected him all the more because I feel like he took his craft, he took his skillful, and he went out and did his own thing, man. He did a thing that was different. He did a thing that maybe wasn't accepted in the mainstream, maybe wasn't viewed upon like, oh, you could be a hard rapper and be talking about God. And he says, thank God I don't look like what I've been through in one of the songs. I believe it was The Process, or it may have been We Ball. One of those two. And I thought, thank God, man. Thank God a lot of us don't look like what we've been through, because it's my opinion that a lot of us been broken. A lot of us been broken. A lot of us been alone. A lot of us been stepped over, stepped on, kicked, punched while we were down. And those sort of metaphors go for millions of different individual situations. We've all been down, out, hurt, broken. But look at yourself. Look at you. You're still standing. You're still standing, baby. You still look good. You're still shining. You still going strong. You still taking care of what you need to take care of. You still looking for more. You still looking, how do I come back from this? How do I heal? And you don't show externally what you've been through on the inside. Not all of us anyway, man. You still look good. You still shining. You still glowing. You're still nice to people, even though the world's been mean to you. That shit counts for something, man. It counts. You know, I seen this clip of this movie. I seen the clip. I watched the movie, Antoine Fisher, Denzel, another one of the few actors I still got respect for, being since he talks about God. And I look at Hollywood like, if you're not speaking out, then you're part of the problem. I'm sorry. It's a world full of pedophiles and drugs and crime and nasty evilness. And if you're not exposing them, then I sort of feel like you're the problem. I'm sorry. I don't watch any mainstream anything anymore. I have very little respect. That's why I like Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson's making a lot of movies where their action movies are exciting, but there's an element of God in it, of righteousness, doing the right thing. And that needs to be seen more in the world, especially for our youth. They're seeing too much of the degradation. And that's not normal, and that's not okay. But yeah, Ace Hood's another mentioned God and his raps, mainstream rap artist. And thank God we don't look like we've been through. As I was speaking about before, that scene in Antoine Fisher, I wish I could think of, I think his name's Luke. I could be mistaken. The actor that played Antoine Fisher, great actor. And he finally gets the opportunity to confront his assailants. And he says to them, you know what you tried to do to me. I'm still break me. I'm still standing. I'm still strong. I'm still standing. I'm still strong. And a lot of us don't have that physical opportunity. I'm not sure that he even did. It may have been dramatized for the movie, to face our betrayers, people that hurt us, lied to us, whatever. A lot of us don't have that opportunity to confront those people. But he did. But we don't have to, because we're here. We're still standing. We're still strong. We can look in the mirror and have that same sort of speech. Man, you look good. Woohoo! Still standing. Still strong. After everything that we've been through. I'll tell you what, we're going to go through it together here on Creating Greatness. You can hit me up at creatinggreatnesspodcast@gmail anytime, man, and talk about what you want to talk about. Talk about what you want me to talk about. But bottom line is, we still standing. We still going to remain strong. Damn right. Damn right. And he goes on in that, man, to say, all the meditating that I did, all that beasting in the gym, all that energy inside I got to give, like, almost like, man, I did all this. Where's my prize? Or maybe, why don't all these people see it and respect it? I don't know. I'm speculating. I'm putting it inside my life, in my mind. As any artist does when they make music, it makes you feel something. That made me feel something like, man, all this working out I did, all this beasting in the gym, all this meditating that I did, all this yoga that I've done, all these breath work practices and cold showers that I've took. Does anybody see it? Is anybody understanding how hard it is and patting me on? No, nobody. I'm a man. Nobody's telling me nothing. Nobody's patting me on the back. Nobody has to. Sure, it would be nice sometimes. We all talk about how nice validation is when you receive it, how nice it would be to get it. A guy commented on my YouTube video the other day. One guy says I changed his life. God bless. God bless. I'm here. I'm still standing. I'm still doing what God put me here to do. Change lives. One maybe. I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it, man. Creating Greatness Podcast. Feel the energy. We here, baby. And we ain't going nowhere. Spotify try to shut us down. YouTube try to shut us down. We on Rumble. And we going to rumble till the wheels fall off, baby. It don't matter if anybody's seen what you did, man. Keep putting in that work. Let's go. Woo, woo, woo. Love, don't go astray. Man, I told you guys I'm sliding back to the R&B when I'm putting myself in that groove. You know, that sort of sensual evening mood, man. And my man, Music, Musiq, doing it in the 90s, man. I've heard nothing from him since. If you know anything about what's going on with him, hit me up. Create podcast, man. But man, he had that song Love. Love, I don't know when it came out, maybe 97, 98. It's nice to hear these nostalgic tunes. And I do encourage people, man, whatever age group you in. I know we got a wide variety. Most people listening are my age, so you're going to know. But there's some others older and some younger, so it's different for you. But when I dug back into these 90s archives of R&B, man, I started stirring up a different aspect. Once again, the complexity of who we are as human beings. You know, I'm not all this. I'm not all that. I'm not all this. I'm all this. You understand? And bringing it back to that 90s, it just made me remember singing and being in choir and going to church and singing in the choir and enjoying that so much. And the friends that I made, it brought me back, man. And I loved it in a good way. You know, it's like focusing on the past in a beneficial way, not in a replaying of past guilts and anxieties and fears and all these things, woulda, shoulda, couldas. After learning what you need to learn from analyzing those things, then you need to move on and let it go. You need to. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying that is the way, and the way that I always do it is you cannot have a better past. You can only have a better future. Shout out to Mom Dukes. And the other flip side of that is looking upon memories in a happy way. And sometimes, while I don't see the benefits of getting super lost in a daydreaming, reminiscing sort of mind state, sometimes of bringing you back to a certain moment in your life or a time when things were much easier or simpler or whatever, and just matching that with a wonderful melody and voice and music is a magical moment. You know, music is magical. And I'll never be the one to say, you need to eradicate music from your life. I use it to facilitate. I use it simply because it makes me joyful. It makes me act silly. It makes me happy. And I'm going to continue to do it because it's not hurting anybody. But love, don't go astray. He said a song, love, there's so many people use name in vain. And then he says, love, don't go astray. Those who lost faith in you sometimes go astray. Yes, don't go astray. I know a lot of us, man. I know a lot of us have experienced loss in our life. You know, some of us have experienced loss upon loss upon loss. Others may think, damn, does anybody love me? Am I capable of being loved? Am I capable of loving someone? Because you've done been left so many times where you left. Nobody ever stayed. But don't go astray. Love exists in the world. Maybe there's not enough love that exists inside of you because that's where it originates from. Once you begin to radiate that self-love, the whole world is love. And love is opened up to us more and more within our worlds. You see, when I first started loving myself, it was because I had accepted all the things about myself that I didn't like. I understood I had a starting point. And from there, I had somewhere to go, something to shoot for. I loved myself enough. I loved myself because I loved myself enough to analyze myself, see where I was at, and begin the slow path to fixing myself. That in itself is love. So when I started to feel this love finally for the first time within my heart and my soul, for the first time, y'all, I started looking at my dog differently. And I love you. I love you, bro. You are all right. I started taking my dog for walks. Walk down the street walking them in the woods, walking them in nature, looking at the trees. Look, I wasn't high. I know what you guys are thinking. No, I was high on life. I was high on love. I'm looking at the grass, stepping on the grass, right? Looking at the trees, looking at the birds and the other animals, insects trill around. I love these things. I love all y'all. Y'all hear that? I love you. It's why I first started embracing vegetarianism and veganism, because of this love that I felt. Now I have since went back and I do eat meat, only certain kinds of meat. We don't need to get into that right now. You have to follow your own path with that, with the diet. It's all about experimentation and attention, and you'll find you have to do the thing that you don't want to do. I didn't want to go back to eat meat. I'm searching for the most beneficial path for my body and how I feel. And that's just the way that it took me. It's more deer meat, bison, and fish than anything else. But to move on, love myself, I'm loving the dogs, I'm loving animals, I'm loving nature. It's that love starting to radiate in my life. And when I met my wife, she wouldn't let me go. I just came home from prison. I told her I don't want no relationship. I want to play for a little while. But a good woman, they're not going to let you go. Or a good man, seeing a good woman, if they know you're good and they know you're the one and they can see past all the BS and the nonsense, could I see myself with kids with this person? How would they act around kids? How do they act in different situations? For example, I always say I knew I was going to marry my wife when the first weekend she started asking me, how can I make your day easier? When I seen how loving, kind, and loyal beyond a shadow of a doubt, someone that I would feel safe in the foxhole with, surrounded by enemies, I would feel comfortable with Emmeline Marie. And that's why when she told me in actions, not words, you ain't going nowhere, boy. You think you don't want a relationship all you want, but this thing about to happen. Yo, man. I seen it and I wanted it too. I seen it and I wanted it, man. Now, I'm going to say that one. The women in the drop, because that's deep. We're going to end it. We're going to end it with letting energy in, man. We're gonna end it with letting energy in. Other folks. It's good and bad. And it's good. We talking about love. We talking about energy and energy exchanges and the people that you want in your circle when you're unconsciously feeding off their energy and they're feeding off yours. And I speak this because I just did. We're going to put it out. I'm going to put it out before I put this out, and I hope y'all enjoy it. Time salute. Salute to Deion Sanders for everything he's doing down there in Colorado on and off the field. And I did this with Manny because he's a sports podcaster. Me and him work very well together. And we wanted to find an area where we could mesh, where I could talk about self-improvement via Deion-related topics. Also, Deion is someone very much so that I look up to, and I've spoke about him on this show. Quotes and things, and elevated standards that he has for his player and his team and everyone working for him in that facility, and how it creates that dominating environment. I know they only won 4 games, but it's a mentality and it's a process. And I believe that he will continue to make progress in Colorado. But, man, I did this podcast with Manny, and all of a sudden I caught myself about halfway through the podcast, like where we were running into each other's words and things like that, like not having set breaks, because it was just an excitement there. Because Manny he's a younger guy. He's excited. He's passionate about what he's doing. And that's great, man. That's why I love podcasting with him, because it's just, we're going off each other with this dynamic energy. I thought more as it was over, as I analyzed my conversations, as I always do, I say, you could have done better there. You talked over them there. You maybe ramble a little bit here. I felt like it was all due to that uptake in energy. You know, I guess excited. He's going, I'm going. And that's what I'm saying. To a point, it's a good thing. It was a good thing that the energy was dope. The podcast was fire. Because of that same energy that I speak of, but in the same respect, I also made mistakes because of that energy. And that's what I'm speaking about. A lot of times we can get infected with energy and not even realize it. Like I said, it was halfway through the podcast before I realized I was infected by his energy, and that was causing me to be a little bit overexcited, maybe cutting him off, maybe going a little too long. Very minor mistakes. Maybe you can't even tell, but I critique what I do as I encourage you to critique what you do. That's how you will get better, making mental notes. Oh, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to say that like that again. But fill in the blanks with whatever you're doing. And I thought about how people can really get swept up in a lot of different things based upon emotion or energy, because it's a lot of like these protests and things that you see. And I'm not even going to go into any of that. We're going to just back off all that stuff, because the underlying focus is us getting better each and every day in order to do what we need to do to thrive, improve our quality of life for us and everyone around us. When we set the standard, everyone benefits, and then they set bigger standards, and it continues. So that's what I'm more focused on. Although if I have something to discuss, we're going to discuss it. That's neither here nor there. But I do think things like that, protests, getting swept up in companies and certain things that are happening, or big groups of friends and things that are happening, or even at a nightclub or an event where there's so many people and there's so much energy happening and going on, that it's a little more easy to get swept up in the tide of emotions and energy. Once again, it could be a tool. Use it, but be aware of it and be very protective of it, especially when it's in your safer spaces, where people that you work with. Decide where you want to work based upon what you want to do and how much money you need to make, but also are the people here, aligned with how I feel, my morals, my ethics, my beliefs? And if not, are they respectful and kind? Okay. And then obviously our families. Now, you can't always dictate the way the family is, but I'm a big advocate of, I don't speak to my father. I don't speak to my father because he is not respectful of the way that I live my life. He has no capacity to accept boundaries. I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not going to deal with it. He's not righteous. He's not God-fearing. And those aren't non-negotiables, but you respecting me and my lifestyle, my boundaries are. So I'm even one to do that. But more importantly, the person that you spend all of your time with, your spouse, your mate. And I'm going to work on that women lecture. So I'm going to talk about it, because Andrew Tate and George Janko had a wonderful conversation in his podcast, George Janko, on YouTube. And it was the difference between, I guess, the base of their conversation was monogamy and polygamy was the basis of their conversation, and pros and cons, and, how they believed in it morally, or ethically, or just fundamentally. Check out the conversation. It was really amazing. Once again, see how the source sent it to me. God bless my brother. I love you, man. And I really appreciate it. And the conversation was great. And it given me a great idea, because I feel differently than both of them. And I thought I just wanted to give my own perspective. But the women or the men in our lives, our spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, best friend, people that we spend the most amount of time with, we are very affected by their energy. So be wise, be careful, be wary of the degradation. Too many people allow other folks that close to them, due to some hole maybe that you don't feel complete, you don't feel okay, cling to these other people. You allow them in your life as if they deserve your presence. And they don't have your best overall wishes, your best possible. They don't have that in their heart. They don't want what's best for you. These people are too selfish to want what's best for you. They only want what's best for them. And you may be that. Be with someone, best friend, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, etc., that you want to be in the foxhole with. Well, you don't want to be, but you would feel most comfortable. Someone you could trust with your money, with your life, with your children. Someone that you know when it all hits the fan, anything ever happens, they are with you till it's over. And if for some reason you're not around, they're going to make not the decision that they want to make, the decision that they knew you would want to make, and also the one that benefits all beings. My name is Robert Prash, King of Comebacks with 2 Ks at the end. Check me out on all social media outlets. Hit me up, creatinggreetings podcast at gmail. I love y'all. Peace.